mom would always tell me that I need to stop watching scary movies because I'm going to open a door to something that I can't close. And I sure enough did, honey. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you already know what it is, and if you don't know what it is, you better know who it is. It's Marshayla Monique.
All alone with my fears, I'm wondering if I have to do.
Man, Wrestlers, I'm the young baby.
There's no reason why
Still here with
I
it.
sleep late last night.
And we're here today. I'm just here today to tell y'all I got my stimmy. It's like, no. But yeah, I got my stimulus. So I'm getting my crib together. I hope y'all are being smart with y'all stimulus money, because that, I mean, a lot of people are saying like, oh, it's not a lot of money, da da da. If you're smart, you can do what you need to do with that money, okay? Just like that. And if you're not smart, then you probably just down to your last $100, and that's your own problem. We are here today for something a little bit different, kind of more serious. I'm gonna talk a little bit about my spiritual journey and kind of like my spiritual awakening and really my experience with the spiritual world. This has only came across because I've seen that spirituality is something that is very trendy, popular, and whatever you may have it. Witches, crystals, meditation, and all those type of things. So it really just got my mind going because I kind of have a pretty interesting story on my way to being spiritual, you know what I mean? So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm not gonna waste y'all time today. Let's really get into the nitty gritty, okay? If we just backtrack a little bit, I'm 24 years old. I grew up in a pretty religious house. My mom was pretty religious. I remember going to church a lot when we were younger. So I knew who God was. From probably, if I could go back to probably like 9 or 10 years old, I started to feel a little bit different than other people. And I, unlike some people, or unlike my siblings, I guess you could say, I always questioned God and why things were the way they were. As a child at that age, we literally questioned everything, but my questioning, I didn't always ask, it was just always in my mind, because at 9, I started to really pay attention in church, and some things really just didn't make sense. Like, for instance, Eve eating the apple. Out of every, like, there was so much other fruit that she could have ate, and she chose to eat that one, and then, like, women are just cursed for the rest of our lives. Like, why couldn't God reverse that? You know what I mean? And then it was questions of like, okay, there's starving people in Africa. Why can't God just fix that? Or like, why are we supposed to do this? Why are we supposed to do that? Why are we supposed to follow all these rules to be a Christian? It just didn't make sense to me, you know? So I asked questions, and of course my mom would always say, don't question God, okay, God. You know, as I got older, I still did go to church, did choir and stuff like that, but I just always didn't feel put, in a sense, you know what I mean? And like I said, I always felt different. So that was also something that I couldn't grasp until I got older, and I finally figured out why I felt so different, you know? So, grew up in a church and always stayed in Bible camp, Bible study, all of those type of things, and just never felt like it was for me, you know what I mean? It's not that I didn't love God, it just didn't make sense to me, and I couldn't wait till I got older so that I could really figure it out, you know what I'm saying? So fast forward to my preteen / teenage years, was still in Bible school, but I started to become very fascinated with the devil and demonic things, and it took me down a path that I will never forget, honestly. I was really obsessed with scary movies, murder mystery. I still like murder mysteries, obviously, because I study criminal law. I just love stuff like that. I was obsessed with like murders and like exorcists and just like stuff that would scare you to death to the point where you want to go to sleep. But that stuff, it didn't scare me, it intrigued me. I wanted to keep watching. I wanted to stay up till 3 a.m. during witching hour because I wanted something to happen. And when I tell y'all that I felt like I was always different, it was like I was connected to a different universe. And I need to backtrack a little bit because that probably took you by shock, but it was like I was connected to the other side. And it was like I would experience things that wouldn't make sense, and I would get messages that wouldn't make sense, and I would see things that wouldn't make sense. Like when I was younger, I spent a lot of my time in the woods. Like I really love being outside and things like that. I spent a lot of time in the woods, and I would see things in the woods. I would see people that no one else seen. I would see priests back there that no one else seen. Behind our house was a old lady used to live in this house. Like the house, I grew up in a ranch home, and in our yard was like, I think it was an acre, and then it like went into woods. But back in those, the woods behind our house used to be a road. So here's our house, and on the side of our house is where we had like all this grassy area. That grassy area used to be a road that led down into what was now the woods. So that it used to be a street, and there was an old lady whose house used to be there. And I guess as years went on, the house started to deteriorate and things like that, but the house was still standing while we were living there. So as I would say 11 or 12, I would explore into the woods, and I wanted to go into the house so bad, but something was pushing me away to go inside of the house. And I would just like explore around it and just see what was there. And one time I actually did see the old lady that everyone on the street had known about, because we didn't always live there, but they had told us that it was an old lady that used to live there. She had passed away in her house peacefully, but there was a time I was down there and I literally seen her. And then I would see priests and stuff back in the woods as well, it didn't scare me though, it intrigued me, you know what I mean? So it was like I started to open that door to let all that in. But I always had feelings that like there were people trying to connect with me and things like that, and it just didn't make sense. So anyways, like I was saying, I was going into teenager years. I was very obsessed with scary movies, and my mom would always tell me that I need to stop watching scary movies because I'm going to open a door to something that I can't close. And I sure enough did, honey. I sure enough did. I didn't stop watching scary movies. And one thing about scary movies is I know they're fake and they're not real and they're scripted and things like that. But a lot of people don't know, like, the things that are put in scary movies, like, they have different, like, they'll say different, like, spells and different, like, demonic chants, or they'll say things while they're doing, like, exorcist and things like that. And those are actually real. And I think that is what got me connected to that other side. And it became a problem, you know what I mean? I remember after we had, we lived in that house until I was, what was I, 17 or 18 maybe? And then we moved back to the city, because this was back out in, like, my area that I went to high school in, so out in, like, a suburban area, I guess you could say. The house that we lived in was haunted, so, and only I knew that, like, things would fall in the basement, or sometimes out by, like, our pool area. If you look at, like, there's some old pictures that we haven't, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it, but yeah, it's at my mom's house, but there were pictures that we had, and we would take them outside. My mom would take pictures, like, of our deck, and, like, there were some pictures where there was, like, a shadow of an old man, and it was, like, it was an old house, and it was surrounded by those woody areas where that house had got pushed in, and there was actually people that, I think someone died in that house too, a lady drowned or something like that. So it was a lot of stuff, and it intrigued me. I wanted to know more. I wanted to do research, and I actually ended up finding out, like, the people that lived there, like, some lady had actually drowned in the pool. So it intrigued me, you know. So, like, as time went on, I still watched my scary movies and things like that, and then I would literally stay up for hours, and then I would watch, like, ghost stories on YouTube, and, like, ghosts caught on camera, live exorcism, things like that. Like, y'all, I was really obsessed with it. And I never stopped. Like, my mom, the time that my mom would tell us to go to bed, I would still be up watching scary stuff, or I would be on my phone searching up scary stuff. Just, I wanted to get scared, but it wouldn't scare me to the point where I'd be like, you know how when you're watching a scary movie, like, when it goes off, and you're like, let me turn on cartoons because I'm shook. I wouldn't be shook. I would go right to bed, and I would wake up and do it all over again. You know what I mean? So, yeah, so that continued on until I was about 17 or 18. And I think I was 17 when we moved out the house. I can't really remember, but we moved to a different neighborhood, and now we're back and the sun is going down a little bit, but like I was saying, we moved to a different neighborhood. I was around 17 or 18, I can't really remember clearly. We moved to that neighborhood is when I first experienced sleep paralysis. And if you don't know what sleep paralysis is, it's basically like you're up, but so how do I explain it? Like, you're up, but you're out of control of your body. So you're up and you're aware of everything that's going on. Like, you can see out your eyes, but you can't move your body. It's like you're frozen and you just can't move. You're paralyzed. That's why it's called paralysis. So yes, that's when I first experienced sleep paralysis, and that I had sleep paralysis for 4 months consecutively, y'all. 4 months consecutively. At this point, this is when when we moved, I chilled out on watching scary stuff, like, cause I don't know, I just fell off with it, you know, but it was still something that I was into and I was interested in. So when I would see something, of course I would watch it, or I would just think about stuff and be up at 3 a.m., which is 3 a.m. is called witching hour. I don't be up at 3 a.m. if I'm by myself today. Yeah, so when we moved there is when I first experienced sleep paralysis, and y'all, my sleep paralysis was a little bit different. Okay, so my sleep paralysis, the first time I had it, and I remember it so vividly because I told my mom what had happened. And so late at night, around 3:30 a.m., I wake up and I'm stuck. I'm stuck in my bed. I'm laying in my bed like this, and I'm stuck, you know, just laying there. Could not move a muscle, could not scream, could not talk, only could blink. And I remember a big black shadow coming over top of me, and from what I remember is it was over top of me, and it was like a Greek god. And if you Google what a Greek god looks like, it was a Greek god over top of me, and it was yelling in my face saying, are you mad that I'm not letting you move? Are you mad that I'm not letting you move? And this kept repeating that, like, are you angry that I'm not letting you move? And y'all, that scared me. Like, and that went on for like a good 15 minutes. And once I finally could get up, I was shook. I didn't go back to sleep. Next day, I told my mom about it, and she said basically to say this prayer, perfect love casts out all fear. I don't remember what exact verse it is in the Bible, but perfect love casts out all fear is still something I use to today, and I should know where it came from, but it's just something that my mom told me to use. So the next night comes, sleep paralysis again, stuck, but it wasn't like a black shadow or anything, just stuck. And it went on and on and on and on, like I said, for 4 months straight, to the point where my sleep paralysis was so bad that I was scared to go to sleep, and I would go days without sleeping, because I was so scared that if I was going to fall asleep, that was going to happen. Like, I was going to be paralyzed again. And the thing about mine is I knew when it was coming. Like, it got to the point where sometimes it would happen and I wouldn't even be asleep yet. I could literally feel it coming up my leg and just shutting down my body completely. And it also got to a point where I was waking up with scratches on me. I had scratches down the middle of my forehead, across down my forehead, like a light scratch. I had scratches on my back, scratches up my waist, scratches on my legs, bruises, all types of things. And it was crazy, y'all. I was so scared, and I didn't know what to do, honestly. And I kept using the prayer that my mom would tell me, but that shit would take over. Like, it would take over completely. And it was really wild. Like, and if I backtrack a little bit, I did get saved when I was 16. And that's basically when you give your life to Christ, going up to the altar. And I remember that feeling as well, that feeling of happiness and joy. And that's when I experienced the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit took over my body, and all I could do was cry. And I knew that with my sleep paralysis, it wasn't anything good or positive, because when it took over my body, it gave me anxiety, made me want to cry out of sadness and fear. So I knew the difference between it being evil and what it was feeling that happy Holy Spirit. You know what I'm saying? The difference. And I knew that it just wasn't good and that it wasn't going to be good. So I ended up going to my mom again after those 4 months of going through it, coming downstairs and telling her that I got scratches on me. And at this point, my mom started to get scared and started looking at me funny type shit. I keep cussing. But there was nothing I could do. I just wanted help at that point. I couldn't sleep. I'm waking up with scratches on me. I'm scared as heck that like I'm gonna die or something, or I'm like possessed or something, because I feel like that's what my mom had thought would happen to me. Came to a point where my mom came and she prayed over my room, spoke in tongues, and eventually it went away. But also I'll say till this day I still do experience a little bit of sleep paralysis, but my mind is stronger than whatever that force is trying to take over my body, because like sleep paralysis, they say that it is caused by you overworking yourself and being stressed out and just overwhelmed and overworked. Something in your brain. I can put a description of what it actually says right here, but it started to feel like it was more than that. There's no way I'm having sleep paralysis consecutively every single day, every single night. So now I can control it with some type of mind control that I have. I know when it's coming and I can literally shake myself out of it. Like, and I really had to train my mind, because I knew that it wasn't going to go away. You know what I mean? Like, the devil is always on my back. The devil is always trying to come in and ruin and wreck and destroy anything he possibly can. And I felt like that's what he was trying to do with me. At that age, I was so vulnerable and I was so open to things and I was so interested in things that's why he did hop on my back and he took over. You know what I'm saying? So I really had to basically shield myself with the Holy Spirit and to shield myself with God. And that's when I started to get back into my word and things of that matter. But now I have like mind control over it, you know? And it sounds so weird to say, because I'm not about to say I have magic powers, but I know when I'm about to have that paralysis and my mind is stronger than my body. I can shake it off pretty much. Fast forward a little bit, as I start to get older, going into my spiritual journey, I always knew that I was different. And I started to realize that I had connections with the other side, as in I can receive messages like, say someone around me, their loved one is trying to communicate with them. The message will come, but I can't pinpoint exactly who it goes to. So I think it's just a gift that God gave me that one day I really do have to embrace, and it's just taking me a while. Because I do have a friend and her mom is like a spiritual medium. Like she believes in God and all that, but like she's a medium. And she expressed some things to me that I am a little bit different, and I may have a gift that one day I'll just have to fully accept. At this moment that I'm in right now, I can't accept it, but it's not something that I can run away from forever. Because I do always have feelings that someone is trying to communicate with me and get a message across, and I don't dig too deep in it, so I never know who it's supposed to go to. I do have those feelings. So with my spiritual journey, I've really been trying to start over on a clean slate. So digging deeper into mindfulness and meditation and really having a clear mind and knowing what I want to follow and what I want to believe in. Of course, I believe in God, and I do pray, and I do feel like I'm blessed sometimes. But deeper than that, I really just try to get my mind, like, just be mindful of things. And also with meditation, I really want to clear my mind and just like be in the moment. And spiritually, like as a woman, like there so many thoughts run through my mind, and they're unstoppable, I guess you could say. So good things come, bad things come, but I do just shield myself with positivity. And having that clear mind and meditating stop those negative thoughts from coming in, because the devil is always working, but I'm always working harder, you know? So, yeah, y'all, that was a little bit of my spiritual journey. And where I am at today is I do believe in God. I do pray, read the Bible, but spiritually, I'm just trying to get myself right, get my mind right, get my body right, and just live a good, happy, mindful life, if that makes sense. it's really a learning process, and I'm gonna bring y'all with me. I'll update y'all on things like that. But yeah, I do know I'm a little bit different. I know I'm a little bit different. One day I will embrace that, but just at the moment, it's not something I want to dig deep into, because it's a lot, y'all. Like, a lot comes with it. But we're all given gifts from God, and one day we do have to embrace those, and one day I will, but it's just not my time right now. But I did just want to share that with y'all. That is something really personal about me that I really don't share with a lot of people, because it kind of scares people, and I don't want them to think that, like, I don't want them to think I'm a medium, or that I'm the devil or something, or I'm psychic or have superpowers, because I don't, you know what I mean? So it's a gift that I was given, and I can't stop it. So yeah, that's a little bit of my spiritual life, my spiritual journey that is still going. I hope that y'all enjoyed it. I hope that this let y'all know a little bit more about me. If you have any questions, or if you have any experiences that you want to share, or if you're going through something similar as me, with sleep paralysis, feeling like you're being haunted and that type of thing, definitely reach out to me. There's a lot more that I know. Some stuff I tend to leave out in videos, but there's a lot more to me than what I say on the video, because sometimes I just forget to say stuff. So yeah, I just want to leave this as like, it's a open forum, basically. Like, if you need something, come to me, I can help you. But I just want to let y'all know a little bit about me. I want to know a little bit more about y'all. But yeah, y'all, that was it, guys. So it's Saturday, so I'm about to go out, and y'all already know what it is, and y'all already know what it ain't, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye, guys. Bye.